Today's game brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of the first inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. The Chicago Cubs with a record of 48 and 68. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. The right fielder Kosuke Fukudome leads off, followed by rookie shortstop Starlin Castro. Derek Lee hits third. Aramis Ramirez in the cleanup spot. Then left fielder Tyler Colvin. Center fielder Marlon Byrd. The second baseman Blake DeWitt. Catcher Corey Hill bats eighth. And the pitcher Carlos Zambrano ninth. As the Cubs get set to face 35-year-old right-hander Chris Carpenter, tied for fifth in the National League with 13 victories.
He has done it for the Cardinals since 2004. He works fast, throws strikes, changes speeds. That's the mantra of most good pitching coaches. And as we said, there has been Cardinal consistency since Carpenter came to the Redbirds in 2003 from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Carpenter 10-3 lifetime against the Cubs. And the first pitch to Fukudome missing high, ball one. Fukudome's six-game hitting streak ended last night. He went 0 for 3 in the 6-3 loss to St. Louis. Fukudome, Castro, and Lee for the Cubs here in the top of the first inning. Carpenter in his last appearance beat the Reds on Monday 7-3. Missing away 2-1. Cubs scored 2 runs in the first inning in last night's game. Now 2-2 on Fukudome.
You can see how Fukudome bails out of there, trying to keep that front shoulder in. That's been his problem since coming to the States. Formerly in Japan, he played with the Chunichi Dragons.
An all-star during his rookie season back in 2008. Full count with Starlin Castro waiting on deck. Payoff pitch from Carpenter. Right back to the pitcher. And he's able to make the grab.
Grab it before it grabs you. This ball is smoked right back through the box and fielded adequately by Chris Carpenter.
I would say so.
Got to realize he starts out 60 feet 6 inches away, and by the time a guy as tall as Carpenter, he's almost 6'5". By the time he finishes, he's about 52, 53 feet away. That reaction time, self-preservation.
So with one away, here is Starlin Castro, having an outstanding rookie season for the Cubs, batting .319, working on a 5-game hitting streak. On the first pitch, on the high hop, Ryan across the Pujols for out number 2. Our sprint player first for Starlin Castro. More hits than anybody else in all of baseball since the All-Star break. And he got the career off to a terrific start with a 3-run home run in his first major league at bat back in May.
He is quite a story in Chicago. He is 17 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the batting title. And if he wins the batting title, he will be the youngest player in the history of baseball to win a batting title. He doesn't turn 21 until March 24th of next year.
He is the only player in the major leagues born in the 90s. March 24th, as you mentioned, 1990. Derek Lee takes a called strike, 2-1.
Kenny, that's a developing story, and I have not read one word about it. 17 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the batting title. And once again, if he wins it, he will be the youngest player in the history of the game. Not only the National League, but the American League, too.
2 20-year-olds won batting titles in the American League. Ty Cobb in 1907 and Al saw K-Line in 1955, and they would both turn 21 the following December. Castro will not turn 21 until March. Derek Lee returned to the Cubs yesterday, activated from the bereavement list. Missed the series in San Francisco, visiting his grandfather. Nice backhand play by the second baseman Schumacher, and the Cubs are retired in order on 13 pitches in the first. Bench coach Joe Pettini of the Cardinals dugout. He is in charge of the lineup card this afternoon. Tony taking in the action from a suite upstairs, as he did last night. Cardinals batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Third baseman Felipe Lopez leading off, followed by the right fielder John Jay. Albert Pujols hits third. Matt Holliday in the cleanup spot. Then Colby Rasmus, Yadier Molina bats sixth. Bottom of the order, Skip Schumacher, the pitcher. Chris Carpenter in the number 8 spot. And shortstop Brendan Ryan. Cardinals facing 29-year-old right-hander Carlos Zambrano, placed on the restricted list by the Cubs in late June. Underwent anger management counseling, and there is Zambrano's scouting report.
Anger management counseling, that's why this year has been a year like no other for Carlos. And while his last time out, a career-high 7 walks in 5 innings against the Giants last Monday.
That start followed 3 relief appearances after his return to the ball club. We spoke with manager Lou Piniella this morning. He said Zambrano met with the club. He apologized. He was contrite. And Lou said he has been the model citizen ever since returning. Lopez grounds out to the second baseman to win for out number 1. So with 1 away, here is right fielder John Jay. Check out his numbers in 58 games, batting .367. He's hitting .393, Tim, since his most recent recall back on July the 3rd.
Yeah, we talked about Starlin Castro. John Jay, the big reason that the Cardinals were allowed to trade Ryan Ludwig to the San Diego Padres.
Jay goes the other way into left field, and it drops in for a base hit.
You know, the one thing that is tough for a young hitter to realize is that all good hitters get jammed. And the reason for that is good hitters are going into the ball. But John Jay is strong enough to flare it to left field for the first base runner of the game. If you don't get jammed, for the most part, you're not a good hitter. Now, there are exceptions, and you're looking at one right there.
The sprint player first for Albert Pujols. Most home runs all time over his first 10 seasons. And the highest career batting average among active players. Pujols went deep in the first inning last night. Number 29 this season. Number 395 of his career. 0-2. First inning shot for Pujols last night after the Cubs scored 2 in the top of the first. He is now 1 behind Joe Carter, who is 50th on the all-time home run list and has more home runs against the Cubs than any other active player. The 0-2 from Zambrano into the left field corner. Jay holding at third. Pujols in at second with a stand-up double.
There are very few hitters. We talked about being jammed, but there are very few guys who can take the ball inside and keep it fair while putting the good part of the bat on the ball. But that's what Pujols can do. In my experience, Henry Aaron could do it, Barry Bonds could do it, and Pujols can do it. For hitters to put the good part of the bat on the ball, if it's inside, normally he'll pull it foul or get jammed. With Pujols, as we said, he's the exception.
Well, the Cardinals with runners on second and third, only 1 out as Matt Holliday steps in. Holliday doubled twice in last night's game as a hit in 8 consecutive games. 6th in the National League with a .309 average. First innings have not been kind to Carlos Zambrano this season.
Very few innings have.
Right center, Fukudome. Jay tags and scores. Sacrifice fly, RBI number 73 for Matt Holliday. The Cardinals take a 1-0 lead.
St. Louis Cardinals have the best record in baseball when they score first. They scored first last night. They have scored first this afternoon.
Colby Rasmus with a drive. Down the right field line and a curves foul. .47-12 when scoring first are the Cardinals.
That's a team with that good a record, and they've had problems with their bullpen. But their starting pitching has just been superb with Carpenter, Garcia.
And, of course, Adam Wainwright is tied for the National League in victories.
Adam Wainwright could have taken over the Cy Young race with Ubaldo Jimenez having a bit of a hiccup, even though he's still having a marvelous year.
17 wins apiece for Wainwright and Jimenez. Carpenter and Wainwright finished number 2 and 3 in Cy Young voting last season behind Tim Lincecum of the Giants.
Yeah, Wainwright went 11-0 here at Busch Stadium this year.
Zambrano has never lost in this ballpark.
4-0 lifetime. Minuscule ERA.
Rasmus went around. But the Cardinals strike first. 1-0 St. Louis after 1. 2010 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Get in and drive one. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Back in St. Louis, Kenny Albert with Tim McCarver. Cardinals with a run in the bottom of the first inning. On a Matt Holliday sacrifice fly, driving in John Jay from third. Chris Carpenter retired the Cubs in order in the first inning and will face the middle of the order, Ramirez, Colvin, and Bird. Aramis Ramirez returning to the Cubs lineup today. Missed the last 3 games with a sore rib cage. Lou Piniella returned to the club last night as Ramirez ties this game at 1 on the first pitch from Carpenter here in the second inning. Number 17 off the bat of Aramis Ramirez.
And the blue shirts have a chance to stand here at Busch Stadium. Blue versus the red. Tony La Russa looking for the replay. Looked like a fastball right down the pipe. Chris Carpenter trying to get ahead. And Ramirez turning to Molina and saying, "I'll handle this one, Yachty." And he did. Right down the middle of the plate.
He hit it 408 feet. As Tyler Colvin takes strike 1. For Ramirez, his second career home run off Carpenter in 52 lifetime at bats. As I started to say, Lou Piniella returned to the Cubs last night following a visit with his mom down in Tampa. Missed the series in San Francisco.
Lou's mom, Margaret, is resting comfortably in the Piniella household.
Lou told us she's doing well. Cubs lost 3 of 4 with Alan Trammell running the ball club in San Francisco, but all 3 losses were by 1 run. And Lou watched the games on television. He said, "We competed very well. We played hard." Colvin down on strikes. First strikeout for Carpenter as we check out our 4 keys to the game.
That's pretty obvious for both these teams. The Chicago Cubs in a very unusual situation in that they are developing rookies. 15 different rookies have played for this team this year. 9 have made their debuts, and 11 are on the team right now. As far as St. Louis is concerned, take advantage of the added incentive that they received in Cincinnati, winning 3 in a row over the Reds to go from 2 games back to a game in front. And that's where they are now.
Marlon Byrd batting .309, having a terrific season, represented the Cubs in the All-Star game in Anaheim. 5th in the league in hits. 15 different rookies.
Man.
Club record 17 way back in 1902.
And this is before September 1st when they can expand their roster. This is during a period where you can't expand your roster to more than 25 players. It has been. Talked to Lou yesterday, and I said, "You know what, Lou, it's been a mean year for you." And he weighed that word, and he said, "Mean." That's appropriate.
It will be his final season as Cubs manager. Won 2 division titles, 2007, 2008. Bird with a drive and rolls to the wall in right center. Stand-up double for Marlon Byrd, his 30th 2-base hit of the season.
Talked about an unusual roster for the Cubs. It's an unusual day for Chris Carpenter. 4 of the 5 Cubs have hit the ball hard to lead off the game against Chris. Got to respect Marlon Byrd playing hard every day for this Cub club. And you mentioned his All-Star appearance, his first All-Star appearance in Anaheim this year at age 32.
In his 9th major league season. Blake DeWitt takes strike 1. Acquired from the Dodgers. 2 weeks ago at the trade deadline for Ted Lilly and Ryan Theriot. DeWitt batting .310 in 12 games with the Cubs. So 2 extra base hits here in the second inning for the Cubs off Chris Carpenter. Coy Hill on deck. Aramis Ramirez led off the inning with a home run on the first pitch. And Marlon Byrd with a double into the gap in right center. He takes his lead off second. As Carpenter deals to DeWitt, ground ball to the right side. It will advance the runner. Carpenter covering, takes the throw from Pujols as Byrd moves to third. So with 2 away and a runner on third, here is Coy Hill, the Cubs catcher. Starting for the 6th time in the last 7 games with Giovanni Soto on the disabled list.
Giovanni with a strained shoulder. I understand he received a cortisone shot this past week. Mending slowly.
Hill, a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the right-hander Carpenter. Batting just .214, but does have a 5-game hitting streak. Byrd, the runner on third with 2 outs. As Carpenter catches the inside corner. 1-1.
And for those of you who follow baseball, you might think, well, it's an 8th place hitter. Why not put him on with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position? The reason is Carlos Zambrano, the on-deck batter, is so prolific at the plate. He is a very good hitter with power.
20 career home runs. More than twice as many as any other active pitcher in Major League Baseball. No other pitcher has more than 9. A 1-2 to Coy Hill. And Hill shoots it into left field. It's a fair ball. Byrd scores. Hill motoring on his way to second. So 3 extra base hits in the inning for the Cubs. Hill drives in his 10th run of the year, and the Cubs take a 2-1 lead.
Now a hanging breaking ball right around the letters, and a little inside-out swing. So a double for Coy Hill, and he drives in his 10th run of the game. Or make that his 10th run of the season.
That'll be some game.
That'd be some game in the second inning to have 10 RBIs, now wouldn't it?
Fernando Tatis of the Cardinals once drove in 8 runs in 1 inning.
That's right.
With 2 grand slams off Chan-Ho Park.
Against the Dodgers, I think it was 1998.
Zambrano still looking for his first home run this year.
Yeah, that's when it's a bad year for Carlos Zambrano as a pitcher, when he has no home runs as a hitter in August. Means you haven't had many plate appearances.
Only 27 official at-bats. He pinch hit for the Cubs this past Wednesday. Fastball missing inside, 2-1. The all-time record holder as far as home runs hit by a pitcher, Wes Ferrell with 38. Of course, we do not include Babe Ruth in that category.
No, you can't.
On the ground to the left side, backhanded by Ryan. Long throw. And it just beats Zambrano. But the Cubs score 2. First pitch of the inning. Aramis Ramirez goes deep. 2-1 Chicago, mid-second. Budweiser with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Cubs leading the Cardinals 2-1. As Yadier Molina gets set to lead off for St. Louis here in the bottom of the second inning against Carlos Zambrano.
Think it'll be a reprise of last night, Kenny?
Yadier receiving a standing ovation as he walked to the plate for the first time last night in the Cardinals' first home game.
Batting sixth, number 4, catcher Yadier Molina.
First home game since the incident in Cincinnati, which started with Molina and Brandon Phillips on Tuesday.
Following the comments of Brandon Phillips saying that the Cardinals whined too much, and there were some expletives in there that were reported that we're not going to say on live television, but Yadier Molina, the tapping of the shin guards, which, you know, normally, in my experience, Kenny, when hitters used to do that and be real syrupy with you when they came up to the plate, the reason they did that is they didn't want you to flip them, to knock them down. When it came time to knock them down, to think better of them. And Brandon Phillips tapped him after the comments, and Molina would have none of it. And it was an ugly scene at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. He kicked it the first time.
And then Phillips tapped him again with the bat. Skip Schumacher. Ground ball. Castro, the shortstop. And Schumacher is retired. And Johnny Cueto, Cincinnati Reds pitcher, suspended for 7 games. Both managers suspended 2 games. Tony La Russa serving the second of that 2-game suspension today.
Both benches and the players on them, emptying. Players coming in from the bullpen. Jason LaRue, the backup catcher for the Cardinals, spiked in the face. He also has a concussion from the spikes of Cueto.
Chris Carpenter was spiked in the back by Johnny Cueto.
That's right. Chris saying in the paper today, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, that it was very difficult explaining to a 7-year-old why he was involved in the fight and the altercation. Not that it was a fight, but in many ways it was uglier than a fight.
Chris referring to the incident as unfortunate chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Carpenter, of course, batting in the number 8 spot. It's the 61st time the Cardinals pitcher has hit 8 this season. Brendan Ryan waiting on deck in the number 9 spot today. Tony La Russa using the same lineup as far as position plays for the 5th consecutive game. Up until this week, since Tony took over as Cardinals manager in 1996, he had never used the same lineup as far as position players go in as many as 3 consecutive games.
Oh, that's a great note. I didn't know that.
Nice catch made by the second baseman DeWitt to retire Carpenter. And the Cardinals in the second. An 8-pitch, 1-2-3 inning for Zambrano. by Sprint. Sprint, the Now Network. Top of the third inning in St. Louis, with the Cubs leading Chris Carpenter of the Cardinals 2-1. Cubs scoring 2 runs on 3 extra base hits in the second inning. Top of the order for Chicago, with Kosuke Fukudome leading off. Hit a screeching liner right back at Carpenter, leading off the game. And on the first pitch, fly ball left field. Holiday moving to his right, 1 away. So Fukudome is 0 for 2. And now the shortstop, Starlin Castro. Tim mentioned back in the first inning, entered this game needing only 17 plate appearances to qualify for the league leaderboard. And if he were to win the National League batting title, he would be the youngest batting champ in baseball history.
We'll try to explain that a little more fully. At the end of a season,
finds this one to center. Castro not helping his cause today. He's 0 for 2.
A position player at the end of the season must have 502 plate appearances to qualify for a batting title. Now, those plate appearances, the reason they phrase it as such, that includes walks and hit by pitches. Guy could have 402 at-bats, as an example, and 100 walks, and therefore qualify for a batting title.
Better 100 walks than 100 hit by pitches.
Yes. Yeah.
It was Derek Lee, grounded out to the second baseman Schumacher, his first time up. Youngest batting champions nationally. We mentioned Al Kaline and Ty Cobb in the American League. Over the National League, Pete Reiser, 1941. Hank Aaron in 56. And Stan Musial in 43. All 3 of those players had not yet turned 23.
Interestingly, that was the year in 1956 when the Milwaukee Braves almost won the pennant. They won in 57-58, but the Dodgers beat them the last week of the season. I don't believe there was a playoff that year. There was a playoff in 59 between the Dodgers and Milwaukee. But that was the only year that Henry Aaron ever won an MVP. Wow. 1956. Kind of hard to believe, and you have 755 home runs at the end of your career, and you've won an MVP title once.
Two from Carpenter. This one low and away, full count. There's Aramis Ramirez waiting on deck. Should lead reach. Ramirez with a solo shot in the second inning, which tied this game at 1, his 17th of the season. Playoff pitch to Derek Lee. Deep right field. Jay going back. He looks up. It's out of here. Into the Cardinals bullpen. Second home run of the game for the Cubs. Number 14 for Lee. It's now 3-1 Chicago.
Chicago Cubs are doing something that a lot of teams in the National League have not been able to do. That's centering the ball against Chris Carpenter. Ball Castro hit to center field, was hit hard. This ball is hit hard. Derek Lee not trying to pull the ball, just hits it hard the other way and puts the Cubs on top 3-1.
All 4 Cubs hits have gone for extra bases. 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Ramirez fouls it back over the screen, 1-1.
I'd like to correct something that I said. It was not 1956 that Henry Aaron won the MVP award. It was 1957. But that was his only MVP award throughout his career.
He hoped to win it in 56.
Yeah, leading the league in hitting. Talk about centering a ball. I don't think I saw anybody ever do it better than Aaron.
Fastball missing away, 3-1.
Lou Burdett was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals in 1963, and he told me that he and Warren Spahn picked up one of Aaron's bats in June that he had used from the beginning of spring training.
Wow. Maduro started down towards first, and the home plate umpire Bill Wilkie said, "Stay right here. Strike 2."
It's one of those balls that you're really not angry about because you're still hitting. That ball appeared to be outside.
Payoff pitch from Carpenter. Ramirez got a piece of it. Bill Wilkie's brother Tim is the crew chief working second base. Mike DeMuro at first. Jim Reynolds over at third.
Like a family outing for the Wilkies today.
Another foul. There's Tim. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cubs leading the Cardinals 3-1. The first single of the game for the Cubs. Second hit for Ramirez today.
A lot of hitting coaches love for a hitter to go the other way after a home run. And Ramirez, after pulling a home run, singles to right field.
Why is that?
Well, the biggest reason is when you hit the ball the other way and you use the opposite field, your shoulder is in the good position. Sometimes when you hit a home run, you become enamored with your power. You pull the shoulder out and you do everything wrong as a hitter. But when you go the other way after hitting a home run, that means to a hitting instructor you're locked in.
Tyler Colvin struck out his first time up. Leads all Major League rookies in home runs with 18. Cubs with 2 home runs over the first 3 innings today. Chris Carpenter allowed 3 extra base hits in the second inning. First time he has done that since September of 2006.
My gosh. You wonder after that outing in Cincinnati when he didn't pitch, when he was spiked by Johnny Cueto in the back, if that is perhaps bothering him today. Not making excuses for him, but from what I understand, his back is not in good shape.
That was on Tuesday, one night after his last start in Cincinnati on Monday. .53 pitches, and he is not out of the 3rd inning. Aramis Ramirez, the runner on first. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Cubs with a run on 2 hits in the inning, leading the Cardinals 3-1. Three and 2.
Seeing Carpenter over the years, he looks very, very deliberate out there. It's kind of anti-Carpenter-ish.
Take you back to the incident in Cincinnati on Tuesday. You saw Johnny Cueto, and there's Jason LaRue, who suffered the concussion. Carpenter kicked in the back by Cueto.
Yeah.
Payoff pitch. Popped up, foul territory. Molina gets rid of the mask, makes the catch to end the inning. The Cubs extend their lead on Derek Lee's 14th of the season. When we come back, we'll chat with Cubs skipper Lou Piniella. Welcome back. Cubs lead the Cardinals 3-1. Bottom of the third inning as Brendan Ryan steps in against Carlos Zambrano. Zambrano allowing a run on 2 hits in the first inning. Retired the Cardinals in order in the second, missing high and away, ball 1. Ryan 0 for 8 lifetime against Zambrano. A 1-0 fastball in for strike 1.
A word was offered from our guys down in the truck who do such a great job. Bill Webb, headed by Bill Webb and Pete Macheska, offering that word lethargic to Chris Carpenter today. Now the Heat can do that, so we're not saying that because he's given up 2 home runs and 3 runs in the first 3 innings that Chris is suffering from the fight the other night. But the Heat, the combination of everything, could be the reason that he hasn't been sharp so far.
Leadoff single for Brendan Ryan here in the bottom of the third inning. We spoke between innings with Cubs manager Lou Piniella, and we started off by asking Lou how his 90-year-old mom is doing down in Tampa.
She's doing much better. Thanks for asking. I was able to go home for 4 days. I'm very appreciative the Cub organization gave me that opportunity. And we got some things done there, and we got my mom home. Let's hope she stays there.
Lou, you're getting thunder from the middle of your lineup today.
Yeah, that's something that we've been looking for. Derek hit the ball over the right field wall with 2 strikes. Ramirez jumped on that ball first pitch and hit it over the left center field wall. So far, so good.
I know it's been a frustrating year for the Cubs, but talk about some of the young players who are developing, like Castro and Colvin.
Well, we've got quite a few of them here. I think 10 or 11 rookies as we speak. We've got 4 position players, and we've got 6 or 7 pitchers. And Castro, after he gets a few more bats, he's going to be battling for a batting title. Colvin is a talented young guy. He's got to learn the strike zone a little bit. He expands it from time to time, but he's got good pop in his bat, and he's going to be a good everyday player up here for a long time. And some of our young pitchers, they've got some promise too. But I'll tell you what, it's hard with that young pitching. You just don't know what you're going to get from day to day, and you've got to be patient with it.
And in 10 seconds or less, your thoughts on Zambrano over the first 2 innings?
He's been throwing the ball fine. This is his second start. The first one in San Francisco, he walked quite a few hitters, but his command seems a lot better.
Okay, thanks, Lou.
Thanks.
Lou. Always fun to spend time around Lou, former colleague of ours at Fox, a terrific player, World Series winning manager with the Cincinnati Reds back in 1990. His final season in the dugout. He announced that earlier this year, his 4th and final season with the Cubs.
One of the great talents of a good raconteur is he can put you in the story, and that's exactly what Lou does. He's one of the better storytellers around.
His friends down in Tampa excited to get him back next year. He told us most of his good buddies have already been retired for 5 or 6 years. They're waiting for him to come home.
Now, Lou saying that his last year as a player, he was 41 years old. He went 0 for 5 his last year. And when he took off his uniform, he never had any desire to come back and play.
Lopez pops it up. Shallow left field. Into the glove of Colvin, 1 away.
So Lou Piniella goes 0 for 5. He said that he did drive in the winning run in his last game, but he hit to a double play to end his career. He had a terrific career and was a very, very good clutch hitter for the Yankees for a long, long time. In fact, Lou Piniella was the American League Rookie of the Year in 1969 for Kansas City.
.291 career batting average, played in just under 2,000 games. Among active managers, he is 4th on the all-time wins list, behind Tony La Russa, Bobby Cox, and Joe Torre. John Jay singled his first time up, came around to score on a Matt Holliday sacrifice fly. Of course, Bobby Cox has announced that this will be his final season. Who knows where Joe Torre will be next year, right? Tony La Russa watching this game from a suite, although it will count on his record, win or lose.
In 1981, when the Yankees played the Dodgers, first 2 games were at Yankee Stadium. And once I signed professionally, I never saw a game from the stands until the first 2 games of that World Series. I saw them with Jim Cott, and we were seated in right field.
Ryan goes, bounce to the third baseman, Ramirez. Cardinals stay out of the double play, and nobody's covering third. So Ryan goes from first to third on the John Jay ground out.
That's one of those situations, I guess if you really split hairs, you could say that the catcher had to cover third and the pitcher would cover home. But it's one of those situations where there's nobody there to cover. The shortstop's over towards second base, along with the second baseman.
Reminiscent of Johnny Damon in the postseason last year for the Yankees.
Yeah, my point was Jim Cott and I sat in the stands in right field, and we heard all of the retorts from Lou Piniella to the crowd of everybody getting on him, if they dared get on him, because he would one-up all of them.
So what did you and Jim yell at him?
No, we didn't say anything. We knew better.
Albert Pujols doubled his first time up. You pay for the tickets that night?
No.
Congratulations.
What a tacky question that was. It's a good thing you didn't ask Piniella a question like that. What do you mean, did I pay for the tickets? I did not.
Just checking. Ramirez. And the Cardinals are retired in the third. Tim didn't pay for his seat today either.
Full disclosure on this broad telecast.
$15,000 agents. We've got the best lineup in the game. By Lowe's. Lowe's, let's build something together. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Back in St. Louis on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. There's Lou along with some of the youngsters in the Cubs dugout.
That's Alan Trammell, the bench coach, who, as you mentioned, managed 4 games. And obviously there's more teaching by bench coaches and managers and coaches in general when you have a younger team. It stands to reason.
Fastball high and tight.
Pardon me, Kenny. Alan Trammell also had to be talking to the middle infielders, perhaps. I don't know. That's a tough play because Ramirez has to come in on the play. On a bunt play, if this were a bunt where Ramirez came in, the catcher would be responsible for covering third base. But on that play, it's kind of hard to fault the shortstop, even though the shortstop wasn't the guy who was going to go to second anyway to receive the throw had Ramirez elected to go there.
Ground ball to the third baseman, Lopez. Fires across to retire Bird, 1 away. Well, teams around the league are competing for a $200,000 Pepsi Refresh grant. Vote for your team's idea at PepsiRefresh.mlb.com. With 1 away, here's Blake DeWitt, grounded out to the first baseman, Pujols. Back in the second inning. Cubs with 3 runs on 5 base hits, including 4 extra base hits off Chris Carpenter. Carpenter with a record of 13-3, 9-2 here at Busch Stadium this season. 9th in the National League in earned run average. But behind in this game, 3-1. Pitching coach Dave Duncan. Manager by committee for the Cardinals today. Duncan, Joe Patini, the bench coach, Dave McKay, and Jose Oquendo. Tony La Russa sitting upstairs. We met with Tony earlier. He said, I can second guess all day long.
Great line.
Two and DeWitt is down on strikes. Second strikeout for Carpenter. Time for a DirecTV game break. DirecTV, the only way to watch every Major League Baseball game in HD. We take it to San Francisco. Top of the first inning. Padres and Giants. Chase Headley with an RBI double off Madison Bumgarner. Gary Hairston Jr. scores. They are now in the fourth. Padres looking to win their sixth consecutive game and extend their lead in the National League West. Call 1-800-DirecTV. As you saw on the pregame with Chris Rose, former Cardinal Ryan Ludwig scored the game-winning run for the San Diego Padres last night in San Francisco. That one gets away from Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter is really battling himself this afternoon, and as we said, we don't know whether it's the heat or the wounds in his back, but he is not himself today. It's certainly understandable because this is his first appearance since that fight on Tuesday night, so you really don't know what you're going to get. Normally, we talked about Cardinal consistency for Carpenter. But today, you could tell by his movement, twisting his torso.
Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Bounce foul to the left of first. Coy Hill doubled in a run in the second inning. Cubs scored their other two runs on solo home runs. Ramos Ramirez in the second, Derek Lee in the third. Pitch number 72 from Carpenter. Terrific play by Pujols. And he will beat Hill to the bag. Carpenter retires the Cubs in order in the fourth. Middle of the fourth in St. Louis. Still 3-1 Chicago. Brady and the Patriots take on the Falcons. And on Friday, it's the Eagles without Donovan McNabb. They will visit the Cincinnati Bengals. Both games start at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific in high definition only on Fox.
The Eagles without McNabb and the Bengals with Owens, right?
Yes, with Terrell Owens and Chad Ochocinco. Matt Holliday with a drive, deep right field. And Fukudome, what a catch up against the wall.
Oh, that's a big league play right there. Fukudome playing a moderate depth for Holliday. Made the catch, slams into the Fox Sports sign. Fine play. That fence is padded up to the top of the Fox Sports sign. Then there's no padding there right around where his head was, but he appears to be okay. Nice play.
Jason Bay of the New York Mets made a similar catch in Los Angeles in left field a couple of weeks ago. Played the next day, but has been out with a concussion ever since.
Right.
But a fine play by Fukudome, who was a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner in Japan.
How about the New York Mets last night, winning 1-0 over the Phillies? The Philadelphia Phillies have not scored a run in New York this year. 4 games, shut out all 4 games by the Mets. Unbelievable.
And the only hit for the Phillies last night, 1-2 now on Rasmus, came off the bat of their starting pitcher, Cole Hamels. The Mets have still not pitched a no-hitter in their history.
35 one-hitters in over 7,000 games played by the Mets. No no-hitters, 35 one-hitters.
R.A. Dickey with the one-hitter last night. As we take you around the major leagues, Chipper Jones underwent surgery out for the season. And Jose Guillen dealt from the Royals to the San Francisco Giants. So Guillen goes from 18 out in the American League Central to only 3.5 out in the NL West.
Picked up 13.5 games in one day.
Pretty good.
It's hard to do. It's kind of like those 10 RBIs I was talking about earlier.
2-2 on Rasmus. Getting back to the Mets for 1 second. That 1-0 victory last night. Their major league leading 18th shutout of the season. They have won 58 games, 18 via shutout. Rasmus called out on strikes. Second strikeout for Zambrano. Rasmus the victim both times.
Tailing fastball, that pitch started inside and came in over the inside corner.
So the 2-away, here's Yadier Molina. One more note on that Mets win last night. The last pitcher to throw a complete game one-hitter in a 1-0 victory with the only hit coming off the bat of a pitcher, Sandy Koufax, back in 1960 in a game against Pittsburgh.
And we looked it up. Sandy only had 2 one-hitters for his career. Twice as many no-hitters, including 1 perfect game.
Cardinals with a no-hitter 39 years ago today. Bob Gibson in Pittsburgh.
That was Bob's only no-hitter.
August 14th, 1971. Cardinals won that game 11-0.
Jack Buck, who announced in this town for 48 years, said that Bob Gibson was the greatest athlete he had ever seen. And Jack was the voice of CBS at the time also. He worked also for NBC doing football games. I don't think anybody who saw Gibson and Gibson's career here in St. Louis from 1959 through 1975 would disagree with that comment.
You would know as well as anybody.
Yeah, he was something.
Molina drew a 2-out walk, so here is Skip Schumacher. Bounced to short his first time up.
Zambrano almost picked Derek Lee off and frightened Yadier Molina.
And you saw Carlos smiling about it on the mound.
Yeah.
Luke Padel told us Zambrano has had a wonderful attitude since returning. I saw an interview with Carlos last week. He was very open, honest, frank about his situation. He said he learned a lot during the anger management sessions. Zambrano looking for his first win since June 20th. He has the highest career winning percentage as a starting pitcher in the history of the Cubs franchise.
Even better than Ferguson Jenkins.
Now ball to the second baseman, DeWitt. And the Cardinals are retired in the fourth. 2 home runs for the Cubs. So far, so good for Zambrano. Correctly picked 10 straight, win a Fox Sports baseball cap. You could join hundreds of others who are already wearing theirs. The current longest streak is 17, held by Johnny Rocket. Get your streak started today. Win yourself a hat or some cash at foxsports.com/fantasy. It's Carlos Zambrano leading off for the Cubs. Top of the 5th inning. Grounded out to short his first time up. And Zambrano sends this one into left field for his 7th hit of the season. We talked about his hitting prowess earlier.
High curveball from Carpenter. Very few pitchers in the National League who get 2 curveballs to start off. But there's Carpenter up with the curveball again. That has been more the norm this afternoon. Chris has certainly had better stuff.
Zambrano batting from the left side against Carpenter. He's a switch hitter. One of 3 pitchers in all of baseball, along with Wandy Rodriguez and Chris Medlin, who have switch hit this season. So the Cubs with a leadoff base runner here in the 5th. Fukudome 0 for 2 made a terrific defensive play in the last half inning, robbing Matt Holliday of a base hit.
not trying to make too much out of it, but this is Chris Carpenter before that high curveball to Zambrano. Just looks like he is out of sorts this afternoon, and as we said earlier, it would certainly be understandable with his injury and the fact that it's hot. Combination of the two, bad combo for a pitcher.
91 degrees at game time today. Kicked in the back by Johnny Cueto of the Reds on Tuesday. Trailing the Cubs 3-1 this afternoon. 2-2 on Fukudome. Cubs lead the Cardinals 3-1. Zambrano the runner on first. And Castro waiting on deck.
Cardinals and the Reds will play each other one more series this year. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th of September.
Bounce to the right side. Pujols steps on first. Zambrano caught the rundown. And he is tagged out. Ryan using his speed to chase down Zambrano.
Well, Zambrano stops. That's a good play when you stop, hoping that there'll be a quick throw from the first baseman. But Pujols and his instincts for the game between the lines, unmatched in baseball. That's why a runner would stop right there. Pretty nifty base running by Zambrano, not known for that.
He usually runs around the bases after a base hit. 20 career home runs.
Right.
How about Jake Westbrook, the winning pitcher last night, first win as a Cardinal? Said it was the first time he's ever reached third base in his major league career. He said he had never stood on third base as a major leaguer.
Not even during batting practice. Well, you've heard that expression, you can't get to first base with someone. Jake finally made it to third.
Castro with a ground ball to the shortstop Ryan, and that will do it for the Cubs. In the 5th, a 9-pitch 5th for Chris Carpenter, who will lead off when we return. But now network. Back in St. Louis, Kenny Albert, Tim McCarver. Log on to statefarm.com/go to bat. Cubs lead the Cardinals 3-1. with Chris Carpenter leading off for St. Louis. Carpenter, Ryan, and Lopez for the Cardinals here in the 5th. Two from Zambrano, low and away. Carpenter robbed of a base hit by the second baseman Blake DeWitt his first time up. Zambrano has allowed only 1 hit since the first inning. Moving to his left, the shortstop Castro. Tires Carpenter, he's 0 for 2. Well, ever wish more people would go to bat for you and the things you care about? Log on to statefarm.com/go-to-bat. Let State Farm help you go to bat for the charity of your choice.
Okay, the Chicago Cub fans are going to be looking at Starlin Castro for a long, long time. He is so much fun to see move around at that shortstop position. He's hit 2 balls right on the nose today in 3 trips to the plate. There's nothing to show for it, but he is some good-looking player. I was interested in Lou Pinella's comments before the game. Lou said, you know, Starlin, we can give you a day off. And Starlin had a very revealing comment. He said, when you're poor, you don't take days off. Coming from a very poor background in the Dominican Republic.
He barely takes an inning off.
Yeah, that's
ever
right.
Since he was recalled in May by the Cubs. I mean, he's played more innings, Tim, than any other National League shortstop.
Yeah, well, for that reason, I mean, how many major league players, even if they're from the Dominican Republic, have the wherewithal and the modesty and the humble attitude to make a comment like that?
Running catch by Fukudome. So Brendan Ryan is retired. Now 2 away here in the Cardinals' 5th. Saturday baseball on Fox, presented by Sprint, returns next week. These Cubs will host the Braves. Buck Showalter's Orioles home for the Texas Rangers, and the Angels visit the Twins. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern. Check the local listings for the game in your area.
Not too often that you have a chance to see 2 teams meet where both managers have already announced they're not coming back the following year. And we'll have that next week when Atlanta visits the Cubbies on the north side of Chicago.
Bobby Cox will remain on as a consultant with the Braves. Lou Piniella told us he's going to enjoy the time off, do some fishing, do some traveling.
Fishing in Alaska, something he's never been able to do because of the baseball season. Fishing in Nova Scotia, Maine.
Spent time with the grandchildren, which he had a chance to do a little bit this week when he was home visiting his mom down in Tampa.
My guess is after a year, he'll be back somewhere. Maybe not as a manager, probably as a consultant. Highly respected by the Steinbrenner family and the Yankees. Respected everywhere he's been. Seattle, winning seasons.
He's done just about everything there is to do in the game of baseball. Player, manager, general manager, broadcaster. And he's done them all very well. Lopez draws a 2-out walk. 1,832 wins. 2 World Series titles as a player with the Yankees. Led the Reds to the 1990 World Series title.
Wire to wire that year. Sweeping Tony La Russa's Oakland Athletics in the World Series.
John Jay takes strike one. Jay 1 for 2, scored the Cardinals' only run back in the first inning. Lou and Tony, of course, both grew up in Tampa. Knew each other as youngsters.
Yep.
Played baseball with and against one another.
Fathers knew one another.
Just out of the reach of Castro. Second base hit of the game for John Jay.
La Russa, on the other hand, is third in all-time wins, and I have one question for you. Does that third in all-time wins, does last night victory count?
Yes.
It does.
It does.
Even if you're suspended.
It does count on his record.
Yeah. I thought it would. That was kind of a rhetorical question. But if you're suspended, I mean, technically you're not the manager. Should go on Joe Patini's record. Huh, Joe?
Well, Tony does make out the lineup card. He's allowed in his office in the clubhouse before the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure Joe would love the win on his record.
Yeah. Joe Patini, in fact, hit one home run as a major league player. When he was playing with the Giants in 1980, he hit it against the Chicago Cubs.
Wow.
It's rare that you see Pujols look this bad on a ball sinking out of the strike zone.
So Joe is 394 behind Albert.
Yep.
A 1-2. Ball back this way. Pujols doubled in the first, grounded out in the third. 29 home runs this season, second in the National League. Adam Dunn of the Nationals has 31. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 1-2. Nice diving stop by Aramis Ramirez, but he lost the handle on it. And the bases are full of Cardinals.
I think this will go as a base hit. Fine play by Ramirez. It is a hit. He couldn't make the transfer to the bare hand. And Pujols with his second hit. You can see the runner, primarily Felipe Lopez, stopping at third base.
So after Zambrano retired the first 2 Cardinals in this inning, a walk to Lopez, back-to-back singles by Jay and Pujols, and now Matt Holliday steps in with the bases loaded. Cardinals have hit 2 grand slams this week, both from Cincinnati, Schumacher and Rasmus.
2 firsts as grand slams.
First time ever that 2 Cardinals hit their first career grand slam in the same series. Ramirez, another fine play. So Holliday grounds out to the third baseman with the bases loaded, and the Cardinals strand 3 in the fifth. Part of the order due up for the Cubs. When we return, they lead the Cardinals 3-1. Saint value menu all day, every day. By DirecTV, watch your favorite team wherever you live, only on DirecTV. And by Chevrolet, every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. Cubs leading Chris Carpenter and the Cardinals 3-1. Derek Lee went deep his last time up. His 14th home run of the season, back in the 3rd inning. Ramos Ramirez with a solo shot for the Cubs in the 2nd off Carpenter, who allowed 3 extra base hits in 1 inning for the first time since 2006. Lee, Ramirez, and Colvin, 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Cubs here in the 6th inning, and for the season, Cub hitters in those spots batting just .253, which is last in the National League. Long run for Pujols and Molina, and it lands in the camera well to the left of the Cardinals dugout. Yadier Molina, Tim, starting his career-high 18th consecutive game behind the plate for St. Louis. Mentioned his backup, Jason LaRue, on the disabled list. Cardinals brought up Stephen Hill from Double-A. He's the backup catcher. Tony La Russa told us that when Yadier feels he needs a day off, he will give him one. Cardinals do have an off day on Monday. So even if Molina does catch tomorrow, he would have Monday off. 18 consecutive starts. No, it doesn't sound like much to you. How many in a row did you start at one point?
You had to be young, believe me. I started 96 games in a row here in St. Louis. It was either 63 or 64, but it was a long time ago.
Including numerous doubleheaders.
Yes, I think that included 13 doubleheaders. In those days, of course, in the early 60s, it was customary for baseball teams to play doubleheaders on Sunday and then have a Monday off. So those off days were much appreciated by catchers.
What you do on Mondays after those twin bills?
Slept.
Go to sleep Sunday night, wake up on Tuesday.
That's right.
Payoff pitch to Lee, and that is strikeout number 3 for Carpenter.
It looked like a cut fastball that will go away from Derek Lee. Derek didn't pick it up. That'll bring up Aramis Ramirez. But when you think of Carpenter, you think of Wainsworth, you talked about earlier, of Wainwright, Adam Wainwright, and Jaime Garcia.
Ramirez swinging at the first pitch once again, but this one will stay in the ballpark. Catch is made by the center fielder Rasmus for out number 2.
Those 3 starting pitchers for the Cardinals, 40 and 12 on the year. That's the first time this late in the season since 1968, when the Cardinals had Bob Gibson, Nelson Briles, and Steve Carlton, all with an earned run average under 3. And that, of course, the year that Bob Gibson had the 1.12 earned run average. That is a little more than 1 run every 9 innings, which is the greatest season from an earned run average standpoint in the history of baseball.
How about Carpenter and Wainwright against their division over the last 2 years? Against the National League Central, they are a combined 36 and 5.
Wow.
Wainwright 11 and 0 at home this year. So they have combined to go 20 and 2 here at Busch Stadium. Lopez charging. Throws out Colvin to end the inning. Cubs retired in order in the 6th. Cancer.org to learn how you can help in the fight against cancer. Cubs leading the Cardinals 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning with Colby Rasmus leading off. He has struck out twice against Carlos Zambrano this afternoon. He's 1 for 9 lifetime against Zambrano. Rasmus will be followed by Molina and then Schumacher. Cardinals scored their run in the 1st inning. John Jay single to left. Albert Pujols doubled, and then Matt Holliday drove in Jay with a sacrifice fly. Cubs with 2 runs in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd. Ramos Ramirez and Derek Lee with solo shots off Chris Carpenter. Cardinals won the series opener last night 6-3. To Rasmus. Rasmus, Tim, last night walked 4 times. No official at bats. Different story today.
He struck out twice today, so he has not been on base here in St. Louis in the last 2 games. Or put a ball in play. Fastball inside. We asked Lou Piniella how many pitches Zambrano would throw today. He said about 90 to 95. A little over 80 right now, 81 to be exact.
For a 95 on Monday in San Francisco. Tied his career high with 7 walks in that game. He has walked 2 Cardinals today. Rasmus strikes out for the 3rd time. And it is time now for another DirecTV game break. DirecTV, the only way to watch every Major League Baseball game in HD. Ryan Mattis on the mound for the Orioles, and Kelly Shopping takes him deep with the bases loaded. A grand slam home run. 2nd homer of the season for Shopping. The Rays lead the Orioles 5-3. And the bottom of the 5th inning. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. Orioles coming into play today 9-2 under their new manager Buck Showalter. Rays 2 behind the Yankees, who lost in Kansas City last night after a long rain delay. So the Rays, in come from behind fashion, now lead the Orioles 5-3. Third manager of the season in Baltimore, following Dave Tremblay and Juan Samuel. Castro from behind second, throws out Molina for out number 2.
Well, I mean, common sense will tell you that I don't think Buck Showalter would say, well, I'm doing something totally different than Juan Samuel did when he managed as the interim manager taking over for Dave Tremblay earlier in the year. I mean, some of it shocks the team, I think, by having a new manager. It's something you really can't explain. But I mean, what's Buck Showalter done? You can't come into a situation like that and work miracles. Even though, you know, in New England, they're still talking about the job Joe Morgan did in 1989, I believe, when he came in, took over the Red Sox. And Morgan Mania they had in Boston and at Fenway Park.
Marcus Mateo in the Cubs pen.
Yeah, it has not reached that stage in Baltimore yet, but you get the drift.
Mitchell Boggs up and throwing for the Cardinals. Chris Carpenter waiting on deck. Should Schumacher reach 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Cubs leading the Cardinals 3-1. Tony La Russa watching from upstairs, serving the 2nd and final game of his suspension following the incident in Cincinnati on Tuesday. There's Tony. A 2-out base hit for Schumacher. Chris Carpenter looks over into the dugout. And what does he see? Randy Wynn coming out to bat for him. Randy Wynn started the season with the Yankees. 2 for 18 as a pinch hitter this year, and he has played more games as pitching coach Larry Rothschild out for a visit with Zambrano. Randy Wynn has played more games in his major league career than any other active player who has never gone to the postseason. 1,678 games. And right now he's a member of a first place ball club here in St. Louis.
That's contrary to his best friend, who is Steve Nash. Basketball player. They played basketball together at Santa Clara, I believe. And Steve Nash has gone on to postseason fame with the Phoenix Suns, and he's been the MVP twice in the NBA, right?
And he was one of the torchbearers back in February at the Winter Olympics, the opening ceremonies in Vancouver, in his native country. Randy Wynn was once compensation for Lou Piniella. When Lou left Seattle, went to Tampa Bay, Randy went the other way.
Yep.
So Randy Wynn pinch hitting for Chris Carpenter. We have 2 outs. Schumacher on at first. Carpenter goes 6 innings, 94 pitches, allowing 3 runs, including 2 home runs. But something did not seem right.
Yep.
As we've talked about throughout this game. Schumacher now in scoring position following the wild pitch.
Catchers are always fooled by fastball wild pitches in the dirt, and the reason for that is they don't anticipate that. You're always looking for the breaking ball in the dirt. You go down with it. So much easier to block. But fastballs, they can scoot by you, and that's what happened to Coy Hill.
Two-one to win. Line drive, base hit right field. Around third, Schumacher. The throw from Fukudome. Initially, Schumacher did not touch the plate. Goes back. Does so before the tag attempt by Hill. It's now a 1-run game.
And, you know, the catcher can't see that. So it's up to the pitcher backing up home plate to tell the catcher that the runner didn't touch home plate. Watch the catcher. Coy Hill can't see that he doesn't touch home plate. The only guy who can see that is Carlos Zambrano. So it's got to be Zambrano to make the call to go back and tag, in this case, Schumacher out. Watch, see, the first time he misses home plate, or at least thought he did.
Touched it the second time. And that will be all for Carlos Zambrano. Marcus Mateo coming in from the Cubs pen. Cubs leading by 1, runner on second, 2 outs. third Major League appearance all this week. There's Brendan Ryan as Mateo was taking his warm-up throws.
Talking to Mark McGuire, the hitting instructor, giving him a few tips. Big Mac back with the Cardinals.
Ryan swings at the first pitch from Mateo, and he flies out to Bird in center field. Cardinals score a run, 6 innings in the books. It's now 3-2 Cubs. By Sprint, the Now Network. We move to the 7th in St. Louis. Mitchell Boggs out of the bullpen will make his 46th appearance this season for the Cardinals. Starter Chris Carpenter went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 6 hits. Marlon Byrd will lead off for the Cubs here in the 7th. Cubs have lost 3 straight, 7 of their last 8, 15 of 18. They leave this game by a run. Cubs have played in the most one-run games, Tim, in all of baseball, 42. They have lost a Major League leading 29 games by 1 run. But today it's the Cubs leading by a run. Fastball from Boggs missing inside, 1-1.
13 and 29 in 1-run ball games, the worst in Major League Baseball. That really shows a softness in your ability to get to your closer, because the Cubs starters have been all right this year, but getting to Carlos Marmol has been the biggest problem. That was said again by Lou Piniella before the game today. 6 rookies in the bullpen for the Cubs.
Cubs have lost 19 games in their last at bat, second most in baseball. They've used 15 rookies this season, 11 on their current roster. One-two to Bird. Boggs missing low.
Remember the comment by Lou Piniella during our interview that with young pitchers, you never know what you're going to get. And that has been the Cubs' problem all year.
Bounce to the left side. Lopez to Pujols. One away. Just after 5 p.m. here in St. Louis, our Verizon game summary. Solo home runs for Aramis Ramirez in the second inning, Derek Lee in the third. Chris Carpenter allows 3 extra base hits in 1 inning for the first time in 4 seasons. Carpenter pinch hit 4 in the bottom of the 6th. Cubs starter Carlos Zambrano went 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs on 7 hits. And here's Blake DeWitt on the first pitch, knocked down by Schumacher. He recovers, and Pujols stayed on the bag, so DeWitt is retired.
When you play the right side of the infield, you do have the luxury of knocking the ball down instead of catching it. If you're a shortstop or third baseman and you do that, the runner's going to beat the play. Nice play by Pujols to stay on the bag.
So with 2 away, here is Coy Hill. Drove in a run back in the second inning with a 2-out double, scoring Marlon Byrd. Boggs missing inside, ball 1 to Hill. Lights have been turned on here at Busch Stadium. Clear skies. 91 degrees at the start of this game. Thunderstorms here in St. Louis overnight.
Old Man River flowing about a half-mile from Busch Stadium.
Got a football game across town tonight. The Rams and the Vikings.
Yep.
Preseason action.
Tony La Russa trying to decide whether to go see the Black Eyed Peas concert tonight or go to the Rams game.
If this one goes long, you can leave the stadium early.
That's right.
Shall I bring up the last time you and I worked a game in this ballpark?
Sure.
Back on April 17th.
Yeah.
No score through 18 innings. Mets scored a run at the top of the 19th. Cardinals tied it in the bottom half. At which point Tim McCarver said, "Of course they do."
Of course.
We are in the 7th here today, just shy of 4 months later, as Alfonso Soriano steps in to pinch hit for the pitcher Mateo. Soriano leading the Cubs in both home runs and runs batted in. Comes to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first. Strike 1. The Mets won that game in 20 innings, 2-1.
Longest game played in the majors this year.
Longest both of us have ever witnessed.
Starting pitchers in that game, Jaime Garcia for the Cardinals against Johan Santana. Lasted 6 hours, 53 minutes, scoreless after 18. 19 pitchers used, including 2 position players. Teams were 1 for 25 with runners in scoring position. And that last note, I still can't believe. You didn't use the facilities for 20 innings. And I asked you after the game, I said, you need a checkup.
By the way, it's the same tally today.
Yeah, well.
You've gone once.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
We've only been in the booth for 2 hours.
One of the more important things in our broadcast.
Soriano down on strikes. You have some time now. 7th inning stretch time.
Oh,
in St. Louis. See you in a little bit, Tim. sponsored by GE Capital. By Just for Men Mustache and Beard, keep your edge. And by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Bottom of the 7th inning here in St. Louis. Third pitcher of the game for the Cubs is the workhorse. Left-hander Sean Marshall making his 61st appearance of this season. Third in the National League in that category.
No right-handed pitcher is warming up for the Cubs. It'll be interesting if Lopez or John Jay get on to see how they work Albert Pujols, who's the third hitter due up in this inning.
Lopez leading off. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Cardinals with a run in the first, a run in the 6th. The 1-2 from Marshall, missing inside, now 2-2. Carlos Zambrano, pitcher of record for the Cubs, went 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Two and 2 on Lopez with John Jay waiting on deck. It's sharply, nice play by Derek Lee. Takes it to the bag himself, and Lopez is retired. Well, the NFL returns to Fox this week with 2 preseason specials. First on Thursday, Tim, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will be on hand for the Patriots and the Falcons. And then on Friday, the Eagles visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. Super Bowl 45, February 6th on Fox from Dallas.
Cincinnati Reds own the headlines in Cincinnati right now. They're playing so well, a game behind the Cardinals entering this game. But the Bengals, a very, very good football team. See, even I say it. Football team. Everybody who is connected to football always has to identify the sport. He's a good football player. He takes the football down the football field.
Rubbed off on you.
Very good football player. And here I am, I'm saying it.
Getting back to baseball for a second. Alan Craig will pinch hit for John Jay. Craig 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter this season, batting just 196 overall in 20 games.
Hoping to get on because that on-deck hitter is a good baseball player. Albert Pujols.
Probably would have been a pretty good football player as well.
He probably would have. I'll tell you, the Winter Olympics in 1992 were played in France. The name of the little hamlet, Albertville. In the United States, this is Albertville.
Alan Craig lines out for the second baseman to whip. From Allen to Albert. With 2 away, it's Pujols. See Pujols' lifetime numbers against Marshall. 5 for 21 with a home run.
Outfield in a doubles prevention defense where they play about 5 steps deeper. They concede the single.
There's another football term, a prevent defense.
Yeah, that's right. good football term.
Pujols 2 hits today, 2 for 3. Doubled in the first, an infield single in the fifth. Cubs lead the Cardinals 3-2, bottom of the seventh inning in St. Louis. One to Pujols. Catches the outside corner, now 1-2.
Right-handed hitters have a tendency to give up on this pitch. That's what Pujols did. Coy Hill wants to make sure. He and Marshall having a tough time getting together.
Most consecutive seasons with at least 30 home runs, 100 runs batted in, and a 300 or higher batting average. Nobody has ever done it 10 consecutive seasons. Pujols with 29 home runs, 85 runs batted in. One, two for Marshall, missing low, now 2-2.
Marshall, one of the few relievers who does not come in and start the inning off with nobody on base from the windup. Most relievers start from the stretch.
The 2-2, and Pujols is down on strikes. Marshall retires the Cardinals in order in the seventh here in Albertville. As we move to the 8th, 3 runs, 6 hits for the Cubs, 2 runs on 7 hits for the Cardinals. Mitchell Boggs missing away. Ball 1 to Kosuke Fukudome, who was 0 for 3. Fukudome, Castro, and Lee for the Cubs here in the 8th. Fastball in for strike 1. Cubs scored their runs early, 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. 2 runs coming on solo home runs. Aramis Ramirez, his 17th of the season in the 2nd. Derek Lee's 14th in the 3rd, both off Cardinal starter Chris Carpenter. Carpenter left after 6 innings. Fukudome fouls it off to the left side, now 2-2. Two from Boggs, and the count is now full. Payoff pitch from Boggs in the air to shallow left. Coming on to make the catch is Holiday for out number 1. Fukudome now 0 for 4. NFL season is just a few weeks away. Get your fantasy football team now. That's your fantasy football team, Tim.
Football team.
At foxsports.com/fantasy. Fox Fantasy Football features new draft rooms, mock drafts, draft kits, and it's still 100% free. Play today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Starlin Castro putting up fantasy type numbers for a rookie, as we've documented throughout this telecast. He's 20 years of age. Started the day batting .319. That average has gone down slightly because Castro is 0 for 3. But he is creeping closer to that magic number as far as plate appearances are concerned in order to qualify for the batting title.
Yeah, I guess to explain it, we talked about earlier, 502 plate appearances qualifies you for a batting crown. That's about 3.1 plate appearances per game if you played 162 games. Or to round it off, 162 times 3.1 is 502.
Very good.
Thank you.
Castro playing in his 86th game this season. There will be thousands of kids going to school this September, raising their hand in class. Did you know, teacher, that 162 times 3.1 equals 502?
Yeah. School's just around the corner.
Off the glove of Schumacher. First hit of the day for Castro.
He has hit 3 balls right on the button today. One to shortstop, one to center, and this one eluding a glove. So Castro with his first hit of the afternoon. Good hitting right there. Going the other way. That's what we were talking earlier about, that front shoulder. Guides the hands to the ball.
So, 1 out base runner for the Cubs here in the 8th as Derek Lee steps to the plate and takes strike 1. Lee is 1 for 3. Solo home run off Carpenter back in the 3rd inning. 1 for 6 lifetime against Mitchell Boggs. Another big game for the Cardinals, who lead the Reds by 1 in the National League Central. Cincinnati will get underway about 45 minutes from now at home against the Florida Marlins. Fernando Salas, Trevor Miller. Two balls, one strike. Castro, the runner on first with one out. Castro goes and Lee fouls it off.
I was going to say good pitch to run, and you can almost say that in close ball games with a 2-ball and 1 count pitch coming. You could almost say that 80% of the time. It's the ideal time on which to run. Contact hitter like Derek Lee, who protected the runner, he won't be running here, but if it gets to 3-2, he will.
Way down on strikes. Second strikeout for Boggs.
Good slider to get Lee. The ball not only going down. Slider's a very dangerous pitch if it doesn't go down. Players refer to those as washing machines, and they just kind of hang over the plate. We've seen those go a long, long way.
Aramis Ramirez hit one a long way in the second inning.
Washing machines one term, cement mixers another term. Neither are good when you throw a slider.
No. Saw that note on the Cubs. Fewest stolen bases in the National League. We saw Castro on the move moments ago. Castro with 6 steals is the team leader among players on the current Cubs roster. Castro goes again. Here's the throw from Molina, and he is out at second. The bullet of the throw by Yadier Molina. Middle of the 8th, still a 1-run game. Is sponsored by Wheaties Fuel. Prepare to win. By Verizon, a single is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. Verizon. And by new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Busch Stadium. Cubs leading the Cardinals 3-2. Sean Marshall retired the Cardinals in order in the 7th, including a strikeout of Albert Pujols. Now Matt Holliday leads off, and he takes strike one. Holliday drove in a run in the 1st inning with a sacrifice fly, robbed of a base hit by Fukudome in the 4th, grounded out with the bases loaded to end the inning back in the 5th.
Carlos Marmol warming.
Base hit it to left field off the bat of Holliday. So the leadoff man is on for the Cardinals here in the 8th.
That ball stayed down, but between innings, Starlin Castro really banged up because of that head-first slide. And if you're Lou Piniella, you've got to impress upon Starlin Castro one thing before you retire. Lou leaving at the... Don't go into second base head first. If he learns only that, you don't know how many years it's going to put on his career. That is a recipe for injury. That slide head first. Rasmus committed on that bunt. That's why a pitcher will go to first base to see what the offense is doing.
Ramirez in on the grass at third. Holliday takes his lead off first. Rasmus squares, pops it up, and the catch is made by the catcher, Hill.
Should have dropped that ball. If you drop that, and he's got a lot of help, Ramirez, Marshall, Lee could have told him. Rasmus is staying in the batter's box. Watch. Rasmus doesn't run. This is a fair ball. You drop that ball, you can go to second, go to first for the double play, but somebody's got to help kill Coy Hill, the catcher, out. And if you're Rasmus, you can't stay in the batter's box. You got to run because the ball is a fair ball.
Ironically, he has not had to run the last 2 games. 4 walks yesterday, 3 strikeouts today. Before that,
maybe he forgot that you take a right when you put the ball in play.
That will be all for Sean Marshall with 1 out. And the bottom of the 8th inning, here comes Carlos Marmol from the Cubs pen. Thursday. Now at its shortstop, Carlos Marmol will try and record a 5-out save.
He's only done it twice this year. The last time he did it against Arizona on July 10th.
Matt Holliday, the runner on first, 1 out. Yadier Molina at the plate. First pitch, left center field. Moving to his right, Marlon Byrd. And he makes the catch, crossing in front of Colvin for out number 2. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Recorded by Marmol, now 2 away for Skip Schumacher.
We talked about a lot of guys in the major leagues who get hurt by throwing that cement mixer for a slider. That is not the case with the former catcher, Carlos Marmol. What an arm. His slider acts like 4 or 5. It'll back up 4 or 5 pitches. It'll back up. It'll bite down and into a left-hander, low and away to a right-hander.
Averaging over 16 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Isn't that remarkable? 96 on the year.
If that holds up, it would be a new major league record. Here's Aaron Miles, who has come out into the on-deck circle should Schumacher reach, with the pitcher Boggs due up next. Fastball from Marmol missing inside. Now 3-0 to Schumacher. 1-run game. Cubs leading the Cardinals 3-2. Holliday, a leadoff single. Rasmus and Molina were retired. 3-0 to Schumacher. Fastball in for strike 1.
It's the thing about Marmol, either strikes you out or walks you. Very few short relievers have a success of keeping guys off base like Marmol does.
There's Holliday on first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. Holliday goes. Payoff pitch. Call strike 3. Schumacher down on strikes. The inning comes to an end. Holliday stranded. We move to the 9th in St. Louis as Marmol worked his way back from a 3-0 count. Grounds out to the shortstop, Ryan, one away. Aaron Miles, the new second baseman, is part of a double switch. He will bat 8th. McClellan in the number 7 spot of the order, making his 49th appearance this season. As Tyler Colvin steps to the plate with 1 out. And the Cubs leading by a run. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, Cardinals will have Miles, Ryan, and Lopez due up.
Probably a pinch hitter for Ryan, one would think, unless he's in a position to bunt.
The only position players the Cardinals have left are Nick Stavinoa and the backup catcher, Stephen Hill. Colvin is 0 for 3 today. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield. On the ground to the shortstop, Ryan. 2 away. Great job by our entire crew today here in St. Louis. Our producer, Pete Macheska, director, Bill Webb, associate director, Aaron Stoikov, broadcast associate, Eric Mandia, statisticians, Marty Aronoff, Wayne Fiddleman, and Tom James, our technical producer, Craig Barlow, technical director, Gabe Bell, pregame show produced by Don Bowie, senior videotape producer, Janice Casaza. The coordinating studio producer of Fox Sports is Scott Ackerson. The senior vice president of production is Jack Simmons. Here's Marlon Byrd, doubled, came around to score back in the 2nd inning, and is grounded out twice to the 3rd baseman, Lopez. Cubs looking to win for just the 4th time in their last 19 games. Cardinals coming into play today had won their last 4. Lead the Reds by 1 in the division. Cincinnati and Florida will get underway in about 25 minutes. Bounce to the shortstop, Ryan. Nice play by Pujols. Busy inning for Ryan. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Cardinals trailing by a run. Presented by Sprint. Sprint, the Now Network. Bottom of the 9th inning here in St. Louis. Time for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. 2 home runs for the Cubs. Aramis Ramirez in the 2nd. Derek Lee in the 3rd. Both off Cardinals starter Chris Carpenter. Just as Ramirez and Lee have given the Cubs the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Carlos Marmol came on in the 8th, retired both batters he faced. And Aaron Miles will step in to lead off for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the ninth, with the Cards trailing by a run. Brendan Ryan has come out into the on-deck circle. And then Felipe Lopez. First pitch. Miles fouls it off to the left side. 0-1. Miles batting for the first time today. .313 average this season. The 0-1 from Marmol, missing away. 1-1. One ball, two strike count. Miles 1 for 3 lifetime against the Cubs closer, looking for his 20th save this season. Slow roller, fielded by Ramirez, and a wild throw. Miles on his way to second.
Going to be a base hit and a throwing error on Aramis Ramirez. Derek Lee could not even lay a glove on it. Nowhere near Lee. Watch his throw. Almost hits Miles. Now what that does for the Cardinals, it keeps Ryan in the game so he can try to sacrifice Miles to third base.
So the Cardinals have the leadoff man in scoring position, trailing by a run here in the bottom of the ninth.
Because Ramirez is in at third base, that's what you do if you're Brendan Ryan. You try to get the third baseman to field the ball. Make him come in and vacate third.
Fastball high and tight, ball 1. Thirteenth error of the season committed by Ramirez. Cubs third baseman with 24 errors. Ryan bunts it in the air, and Hill unable to make the play.
I think Coy Hill may have had an eye on Derek Lee. He didn't know where Lee was. That's a play that should have been made. He actually put his hand in his pocket.
So he caught the one he should have dropped in the 8th inning, and now drops the one that he should have caught.
Yeah. A new life for Brendan Ryan.
1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out, bottom of the 9th inning.
No error given on that play. I think you've got to give an error on that ball.
Ryan bunts it in the air again. Easy play for Hill. 1 away.
When the barrel of the bat is below the hands, the ball's got to go up. Coy Hill catching that ball kind of defiantly, snatching it right there, saying, I'm not going to miss this one.
So a reprieve for Hill. 1 out. Here's Felipe Lopez. Strike 1. Lopez just 2 for 11 against Marmol in his career. Miles represents the tying run. Lopez today 0 for 3 with a walk. Behind in the count, 0-2 with Alan Craig waiting on deck. The 0-2 for Marmol. Foul territory. Ramirez under it, 2 away. So now the Cardinals down to their last out. as Alan Craig steps to the plate with Albert Pujols waiting on deck. Craig pinch hit in the 7th inning against Sean Marshall, lined out to the second baseman DeWitt. Will Pujols have a chance to swing the bat? Miles on second, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning in a 1-run game. Alan Craig has never faced Carlos Marmol. First pitch, strike 1.
Alan Trammell trying to move Fukudome, the right fielder, in, and has successfully done that. The one thing you want to prevent against right here is that little flare the other way off the end of the bat. You want your right fielder to be in close enough to make the play.
0-2 on Craig.
Boy, those are 2 wicked sliders that Alan Craig just faced. This one out of the strike zone. He'll see that again. No sense in going to the fastball right here.
That will do it. A 5-out save for Marmol. Carlos Zambrano with his first win since June 20th. Chris Carpenter suffering only his 4th loss of the season. So the Cubs win for only the 4th time in their last 19 games, ending the Cardinals' 4-game win streak.
Slider, slider, slider to Alan Craig as Marmol goes to the slider off the plate. Not too many right-handers in the game can hit that pitch.
Save number 20 for Marmol. Took 2 hours, 41 minutes. And the Cubs win a 1-run game. They defeat the Cardinals by the score of 3-2. So the Cards now with a half-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds, who will get underway shortly at home against the Florida Marlins. We'll return to St. Louis for more post-game coverage right after these messages.